Today's daf is Mesech Nedarim, Daf Mem Gimel. We are at the Mishnah, Daf Mem Beis Mem Beis, the third line from the bottom, in the middle of a line. The Mishnah says, Zak the Heilige Mishnah, Hamoider Anam Chaveri. If somebody asks his friend in Hana, Lo Yashilenu, the moider should not lend the madir, the one that made the nether, kalim. Lo Yishal Mimenu. The law Yishal Imenu, and he should not borrow from the Madir, from the guy that made the nether. Also, La Yalvenu, he should not lend him anything, any money. La Yilvimenu, should not borrow from him. La Yimkolo, he should not sell to him. La Yikach, he should not buy from him. La Yikach Imenu. And the Gemara is going to explain all the reasons for all these Yisurim. Zok the Gemara, Bishloima. So very good, Zok the Gemara, that he should not lend him any money because then he's giving him anah. So the moeder should not let lend the man any money because he's giving him anah. How is he giving him anah if he borrows from him? If he lends it, if the madir lends him money. Okay, so that's that question. You should not borrow from him money, and you should not take from him. You shouldn't borrow from him the moeder from the madir. So that's understood because he's having anah from him. From this, that. So the moeder is having anah from this, that he's borrowing or buying from the madir. So if the madir asked him to have anah from himself, then that's why it should be aser. Ella lo yashilenu v'lo yalvenu v'lo yimkoloi. The moeder can't do it to the madir. All these things. How is the moeder getting hana by selling things to the madir, or when he lends him money? How is he getting aser? Why should that be aser? Why should it be aser for the moeder to lend the madir money? And the Gemara, Rabbi Yosef Chanina says, the Mishnah is talking about kigoyin shenadar hana zamizeh. The Mishnah is talking about two people that they aser each other in hana, and therefore it's aser for each one of them to lend, to borrow, to sell, to buy from each other. Abai says a different teretz. That you're right, the moed taka does not have an iser to lend anything to the madir. And what? So why is it aser? Teretz is gezerah lishol mishum lahashol. It's gezerah the chacham or chayshish that if the madir is going to borrow and buy things from the moeder, then he's also going to come to lend him. V'chein b'kuluhu, and also by mekach ha'aval, all these surim to do all these things, to do sales, and is the aser because of this gezerah. Zokt the Mishnah weiter. So in this Mishnah you have two parts of the Mishnah. You have a continuation from the previous Mishnah, that it's talking about the moeder is aser to borrow from the madir. So it's the case where the Mishnah is going to say it's mutter. And number two, the second part of the Mishnah is a case where the moeder is allowed to have hana from the madir al yidei, the hana coming ba'akifin. It comes like in a roundabout way. So now Zak the Gemara. Amar loi, if a guy tells his friend, Hashileni harascha, lend me your cow. Amar loi, his friend tells him, Eini penuya, it's not available. Sorry. Amar, so if the guy that asked him if can I borrow it, he gets upset, and he says, Koidim sanin shani charish bala olam. I'm answering this specific para that I asked to borrow from you, that it's never allowed to plow my field, ever. Never allowed to field. And it doesn't specify is the charisha, the plowing also specifically with this para, or is it just him, or is it even other people want to plow it? So therefore the halacha is like this. If it was normal that this borrower, he would plow it himself, who aser v'chalad mutar, then he's not allowed to because he aser hana, but everybody else is mutter, because we say that his intention was only on himself. And if it was not normal for him to plow the field himself, then everybody is aser, since he was not mischaven to ars on himself the the charisha. What was him scham to aser? It was aser any hana from charisha. So therefore, even if anybody else does it, since normally other people are also playing this field, everyone will be asked to plow his field with this animal. Zok the Gemara. If someone asks his friends, "Ve'ein loy ma yoichal," and the moider does not have anything to eat, he's stuck. So hoylach eisal hachevni aragol atzloi. The mother could go to the chevni that the moider is frequent by, and he tells him, "Ish pliny mudumen." Now this guy, he asked himself to have any hana from me. Ve'eni yedei amas, I don't know what to do. Who and the chevni can go ahead and noisin loy. And he could go give the muzzin some food. He could go give the moider food. Uba v'noitel mizeh. And the chavni can go and get reimbursed for what he gave the moider from the madir. He can go collect payment from him. So it comes out that the madir is giving the moider hana in a roundabout way, and this is how it's like the Gemara it's mutter. Hoye beisay live nice. What happens if the moider had to build his house? Or Gedeir Ligdar, he had to build a fence. Gedeir Ligdar, he had to cut his field. And the moider wanted to help him out, but he can't give him enough because he asked it enough from him. So Allah is the moider is allowed to go to workers, and he can tell them, Ish pleni mudur mena. No, this guy asked himself, no, but he needs help. I don't know what to do. And they're allowed to go ahead and build his fence and cut his field or do whatever he needs. They can go back to the madir and collect payment. So although he's giving them a no, it's in a roundabout way and it's mutter. What happens if the madir and the moider that he asked him they were traveling in the same way? And the moider does not have what to eat, but he doesn't want to take anything from the madir because he said he won't have enough from him. There's a neder, there's an isser there. The halacha is noider le'echa. The mother could give food to one of the people that happen to be together with them, l'shtomatana, as a gift. The halal and the moider can go ahead and mutarba, and he's allowed to eat in that gift because he's not having enough from the mother. It's only from the guy that accepted it as a gift. So that is another way that it's mutar for him to have hana from the mother in an indirect way. What happens if there was not a third person with them and he doesn't have that eitzah? Halacha is maniach al salai al geder v'oimer. He's allowed to put it on a rock or on a fence. V'oimer, he could say this thing is hefker, so he has no more ownership in it. V'hala and the moider noitel v'oichel can go ahead and he could take it since he's not having enough from the madir. Only he's oichel from hefker. Rabbi Yossi oiser. Rabbi Yossi says no. In this way of doing hefker, it's still going to be aser. Mashenkin, if he gives it to a third party, that's going to be mutter. That's what Tosfos says. Rabbi Yossi is going to agree with that. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, my time to Rabbi Yossi. Why does Rabbi Yossi hold that if the madir is mafker the mozon, it's aser? It's like the Gemara Kasavar hefker kamatani. It holds that hefker has a din like a matana. Ma matana ada asim rishus noislam rishus mekabel. Just like matana goes out of the rishus of the giver and it goes into rishus mekabel. So it does not go out of rishus of the giver until it goes into another guy's rishus. Af hefker does not go out from the rishus of the mafker ada also rishus zoichel until it goes into rishus of a guy that is zoich in it. But as long as nobody's zoich in it, then it does not go out of rishus of the mafker. So therefore, it's like the Rabbi Yossi holds that the moider cannot be zeicher from hefker because it still does not go out of the rishus of the mafker. So it comes out that he's having enough from the madir. So that's where Rabbi Yossi held this aser. For the Gemara, Masiv, Reb Abba asked, we learned in a brisa that if the madir wants to give anah to the moider, he can mafker the food. V'halon noito, v'oichon, he could take it. Rabbi Yossi holds this aser. Rabbi Yossi says, Ein masai is it aser. When Rabbi Yossi say that it's aser to do that to make it hefker, is only when the neder of the madir comes before the hefker of the mazon. So that means first he made the neder, and then he wants to go and make a solution and be mafker. What happens if happens to be he was mafker before his neder, just randomly, and before he asked the moeder b'hana, and then he all of a sudden made a neder. So then the halacha is that's mutter. Why? Because at the time that he asked the moeder from his nechasim, at that time the muzzle was not his. So for the Gemara that if you want to say like we just said before this Shagam Taya, that we said that Pshat is that the hefker does not go out of the rishus of the mafker until it goes into a rishus of somebody that accepts it. What's Pshat in the Brisa? The Brisa says the difference that if he made the hefker first, then the moeder could have anah from it. L'chayra, it still does not go out of rishus of the mafker until someone takes it. So as soon as the moeder does take it, he's taking it from the rishus of the mafker, and l'chayra it should be aser. Zak the Gemara, who Moisav law? Reb Abba asked the question, v'hu mishanit law. He answers it. And what does it say? That still, you know why that's mutter if he makes the hefker, if the hefker came before the neder? Because kol hanoider ein dait al mashe hefker. Someone that makes a neder, his das is not on what is mafkir. And therefore, if the hefker came before the neder, then the matter is not mischaven to asar on the moeder anything that's hefker. So it's not pshat, it's mutter because he's zeiche from hefker. Pshat is that pshat. Well, he is zeiche from hefker, but he could be zeiche from hefker because that he did not have. We say that he did not have in mind. His intent was not to asar hefker that he made prior to the neder. Masiv Rava. Rava asked on Rababa, Miktsasan l'rishain, a person that gave part of his nechasim to one of his slaves, v'kulan l'sheni, and then he went ahead and he gave all of his nechasim to a second person, second slave. So the Gemara is bringing a halacha from Raisa. If a guy has two avadim and he gives part of his nechasim to the first eved, and then he goes ahead and tells the second eved, I'm giving you all my nechasim. So the halacha is that the sheni is zacha. The second nechasim is zeiche in all the nechasim, plus he goes out free because the adin gave him all his nechasim, and he gets the rights to use the first eved. Ashing the first, why? Because we say that the intention of the Adon was to give the second one everything. Actually, in the first one, he left over part of his nechasim, so we say his intention was not to make the Eved free, and he also intended to leave over the Eved. So the Gemara is asking that l'chayr is mavur that the master has in mind, we say his intention is to give over to the second, even when he already gave to the first Eved, which was whatever part he gave originally to the first Eved. So the Gemara is asking that who adin the madis chavirim and the chasav l'chayra, you should say if he asks him mana and the chasim, his das is even on one who was already mafker. So we just finished saying on one who was already mafker that he's allowed to have ana from l'chayra, that should be asr according to this halacha and this brayso that we're bringing now. So Elamar Rava says that no, a different pshat. So Zakh Rava a different pshat, that the reason why Rabbi Yossi holds it's aser is a gezeira because of matnas b'chayrin. What's matnas b'chayrin? Matnas b'chayrin is the case that a guy would make an aser's friend v'hana, and he would only go ahead and let's say be mafkers the chasam afterwards, or give it to a third person, only in order he wanted to make that loophole that the moeder should be able to have a no. So in that case, we say that that's aser, if he's doing it specifically for that reason. It means if he's doing it lechatchila and he has a mind, he wants to get around the neder, as a loophole, we say that it's aser. So therefore, only time we say that's aser is only if his neder comes before the hefker, because we're afraid of manas beis chayrin. Yes, he's afraid that he's going to go ahead and he's going to do it purposely. But in the case where the hefker comes before the neder, there is no chashash. When the hefker comes before the neder, there is no chashash of manas b'scharim. We're not afraid it's going to come to that. So therefore, even Rabbi Yossi is masking that would be mutter.